People make the mistake of assuming that BlackAdam is simply the villain or the anti-hero in his movies, automatically making Hawkman the hero because BlackAdam is killing more people than Hawkman. This is not only false but also a very shallow analysis of the plot. But why? We must first understand what these two characters stand for and why they conflict. Adam or BlackAdam used to be a slave under a tyrannical king Acton of an ancient civilization called Kandak. So if you watched the movie, you will understand that BlackAdam has seen a lot of oppression like slavery, starvation, and even the execution of his own son. At first he appears to be a nihilist who respects no established order and is just out to kill people. However, it's quite evident that he has a lot of bitterness against any form of tyranny. That's why after his release, he decided to spare Adriana and kill the Intergang soldiers. He is a rebel and has accepted his Machiavellian ways. That's why he keeps repeating the phrase that he is no hero. Such a man has the potential of being a rebel hero. That part is inside Adam, but somehow he purposefully suppresses it. Hawkman, on the other hand, comes from wealth, judging from his enormous estate and technology. He closely works with Amanda Waller, blindly following her orders like a simp or loyal dog, which shows that he believes in respecting authority and having an orderly system. He also believes that this automatically makes him the moral superior hero who is responsible for maintaining this order by detaining anyone who is against it. Such has the risk of becoming an authoritarian absolutist. Such also believe that legal is always good and may do evil things in the name of authority, believing he has the legitimate right to do so. When these two characters meet, a world war is inevitable. This movie is obviously a metaphor of the conflict between the Western world countries who believe in imposing their moral superiority on others versus the rebel or terrorist groups who use excessive violence in the name of retaliating against imperialism. The sad truth is Hawkman has never intervened before to rescue Kandak from the Intergang, but only cares more about stopping BlackAdam. But why? Because Adam is a threat to the authority, which gives him meaning. In other words, BlackAdam threatens his claim for moral authority and therefore must be stopped. This is understandable because the system has favored him despite being a man of color. Hawkman is clearly a representation of the Western world, which has working systems and a high respect for human rights within its constitution. Therefore, it's inevitable for them to believe that they have a right to impose this on other countries, yet somehow they only do it when they have something to gain or if it's a threat to their own power. BlackAdam, on the other hand, dislikes how Hawkman is trying to impose the self-righteousness on him. This is understandable because he comes from a different political era which was plagued by tyranny. He is clearly a representation of rebels or terrorists who don't care about being branded the heroes but will cause a lot of collateral damage in the name of fighting the power, not really thinking about what comes afterwards. As a result, the writer intentionally brought in a greater enemy, Sabak, to force the two characters to work together so that they could each have their own character arcs that help in pushing the message. Hawkman ends up learning that instead of considering BlackAdam an enemy, he should accept that BlackAdam also has some good in him and deserves to be considered a hero. And he finds this easier to do after understanding Adam's backstory rather than what he has been told by Amanda Waller. In short, just because someone isn't under your authority doesn't mean that they are a threat. BlackAdam also learns the importance of using your power to protect the oppressed instead of solely focusing on punishing the oppressor, as described by a French philosopher, Albert Camus. The rebel is a warrior and an artist seeking to institute a new humanism as a response to a meaningless world in order to instill solidarity, freedom, and hope amidst absurdity. The message shouldn't be misconstrued to mean that governments should work with terrorists. No. I believe the message in this movie was that those who consider themselves as the ultimate moral authority should come down from their high horses and stop imposing their culture on others, for their imperial ways seem to create more tension with the so-called rebels. They should also really understand what these retaliators want. Sometimes the rebels have justifiable reasons. For example, African freedom fighters who are fighting against colonization. Also, those who rebel against authority should really investigate whether what they are fighting for is a noble cause and whether the victory will improve living conditions or be an out of the barn to the fire situation. Violence and enmity isn't always the solution. For most of the times, you become the oppressor you are trying to destroy. In short, the world becomes a better place when we focus on synergy for noble causes rather than conflict because of our differences. And that's the hidden message behind BlackAdam.